Muranga, I have to speak for Muranga, Mr. Speaker, because the senator for Turkana can speak for the people of Turkana, even as we look at matters nationally. And so, Mr. Speaker, we hope that this is not a scheme to, Mr. Speaker, to then impoverish the people from the said particular region. Mr. Speaker, I think it's also very important that we deal with the matter of import of milk from Uganda. We should not expose our farmers through importation of milk from Uganda, Mr. Speaker. And I also want to comment about Senator Murango's second statement about the recent directive by the Ministry of Cooperatives to pay directly, coffee farmers directly from the Nairobi Coffee Exchange. This is something which, if implemented, then will kill cooperative societies. And Mr. Speaker, small-scale farmers.
Honorable Senator, you should train your eyes on the lights so that you don't overrun the highway. Senator Wambua Enoch.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I stand to make a comment on the statement raised by Senator Agnes Kavindu of Machakos concerning the construction of stadiums in Machakos County. Mr. Speaker, there's a reason why the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and the fourth schedule, part 2, allocates the role of construction of stadiums to county governments. Mr. Speaker, this is because it is expected that the county governments will make investments in stadiums to tap into the talent of local youth and make them be engaged in profitable ways, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when the committee that will be seized of this statement, if they choose then to visit those two stadiums identified by Senator Kavindu, I will request that the committee should extend that visit to cover the region, the Lower Eastern region, the Speaker, of Kitui, Makueni, and Machakos. I say this, Mr. Speaker, because since independence, these three counties have never had what you would call a real stadium, where our youths can exploit their talents, where we can have serious meetings with the Speaker. And now, Mr. Speaker, because I know where we are going, we will need to have a lot of these spaces where a lot of these things, including public meetings, can happen. It will be important to have these counties invest more of their resources in constructing stadiums in that region. The Speaker.
Senator Derito John Kenywa.
Asanti Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Nataka kuunga mkono taarifa iliyoletwa na Senator Kirinyaga kuhusu ukulima wa maziwa. Bwana Spika, ni kinaya kwa sababu katika Jamhuri ya Kenya serikali imejitolea mhanga kwa kupatiana pembejeo, mbegu za kisasa. Hata unapata kuna mambo mengi kumeletwa, wanakumbatia mambo ya teknolojia. Lakini ni jambo la kuvunja moyo sana ikiwa mambo hayo yatafanywa alafu unapata shirika ambayo imepewa jukumu la kushughulikia mambo ya wakulima hasa maziwa, unapata wafanyi yale ambayo yanapaswa kuwa yakifanywa, kwa sababu wakulima wakati huu ukitembelea sehemu ya Kirinyaga, uende sehemu ya Nyeri, uende Laikipia, wale wanaotegemea mifugo hasa ukulima wa ng'ombe kwa sababu ya maziwa, ilhali maziwa yao haiwezi ikapokelewa yote na KCC, Bwana Spika. Vile vile baada ya kupokelewa na KCC hata kulipwa inakuwa ni jambo gumu sana, inakuwa ni kizungumkuti, Bwana Spika. Na vile vile hata bei ambazo tayari serikali iliwaahidi, waliambiwa lita ya maziwa itakuwa ikinunuliwa zaidi ya shilingi 50. Lakini Bwana Spika, inakuwa kila wakati ni matatizo. Bwana Spika, tunaomba ya kwamba kamati ya ukulima ambayo itashughulikia jambo hili walivalie njuga na waite waziri Kagwe aweze kueleza, kwa sababu alipochaguliwa kulisemekana ni mtu aliyebombea na ana ujuzi. Sasa tunataka kuona ujuzi wake akilipa wakulima wa maziwa na walipo wakati unaofaa. Bwana Spika, nashukuru Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii.
Asante. Senator Kisang William.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to make comment on the new KCC issue. Honorable Speaker, the Kenya Kwanza government did a lot of campaigns across the country to encourage our farmers, especially dairy farmers, Honorable Speaker, and we were promised of 53 shillings.
That the gadgets are working, because in your usual democratic fashion, you usually allocate one speaker from either side. I don't know what you had for lunch that has changed you today.
The ratio is 2-1, and also I can't see you on my screen. So the ratio is 2-1, almost going to 3-1. And also there is no standing order which is describing what the chair should do when you are here, when you are giving members to contribute. But maybe the technicians can check on your gadgets. Yes, Senator Karwale.
Mr. Speaker, did you hear the Senator of Homa Bay question what you had for lunch? Mr. Speaker, in view of the good English language, that statement in itself imputes improper motive, because in good English, it means either you took alcohol or opium or something. Is he in order, Mr. Speaker?
Bonnie, Senator Bonnie, you know where I come from. Men does not talk about the food. So I could not make a comment about the food. The men don't discuss matters, stomach matters. So you assume you never heard what he said. I just assumed I never heard. It's like when a boy insults you, you don't reverse back. You just don't answer him. You just proceed with your work. Yes. So I assumed I didn't hear what he talked about food. Senator Kisang, proceed.
Speaker, I agree with you. You know where Kalwale comes from. Food is very important. They talk about food all the time. Honorable Speaker, it is so sad that the new KCC and the SACCO in Meru decided to drastically reduce the amount of milk they are taking from the farmers, from 75,000 to 25,000. Honorable Speaker, you know milk is perishable. It is not, it's not dry food that you can store in your house for long and then submit later on, Honorable Speaker. We need to actually call the CS and the CEO for KCC to come to the house and answer, because our farmers are suffering and we are encouraging them, to have good dairy cows that produce up to 40 kilos a day. And then when they work hard, we stop picking the milk from them, Honorable Speaker. This is not right, and the CS should come to the house and explain what is happening. Because we have shortage of milk. Why are we importing milk from Uganda? Why are we importing maize when we have maize from the neighboring countries, Honorable Speaker? Honorable Speaker, that is something that we need to look at so that we don't discourage our farmers from investing in both dairy and crops, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the last one I wanted to make comment is the one by Senator for Migori, Honorable Speaker. You know, the Ministry of Mining cassetted 32 AMCs across the country. Elgeyo-Marakwet County is one of them. And they have taken so long, Honorable Speaker, to operationalize these particular committees that have been cassetted, the additional mining committees across the counties. Honorable Speaker, they need to operationalize, especially this coming financial year from.
Senator Beatrice Akinyi, Ogola.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to support the statement by the Senator of Kajiado, Senator Seki, on the shortage of vaccines. Honorable Speaker, at independence, there were 3 major things that the founding fathers promised to sort. And one of them was disease, ignorance, and hunger, Honorable Speaker. But it is a pity that at this level, over 61 years,
Senator Joyce Korir.
Honorable Speaker, it is unfortunate that after over 60 years of independence, we still want to talk about tackling disease. Honorable Speaker, could it be that we are leaving our children to languish in death? Honorable Speaker, coupled with this, I would like the committee to tackle the issue of immunization financing, which is going to be a problem in this country, especially as donors are going to pull out by 2029. Then if we have a problem by now, it means we are running into a worse problem, Honorable Speaker. Secondly, I want to support the statement by Senator Eddie Okech on the concerns regarding the state of small-scale mining in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, just a few weeks ago, we saw over 5 women died at some of those mining sites. We would like the ministry to also state what safety measures they are putting in place for the artisan miners and the small-scale miners all over in the mining areas. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to comment on the aerial survey of minerals that was done. Why do we find it easy to know where our natural resources, like wild animals, like forests are, and somebody does not want to make public the inventory on minerals, Honorable Speaker? Kenyans deserve to have this knowledge, and so, Honorable Speaker, I support those statements, and Honorable Speaker, there should be a lot of concern on those. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Okenyuri Esther.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to first begin by supporting the statement by Migori Senator Eddie on minerals. Mr. Speaker, the statement that has been brought by Senator Eddie is quite weighty, and I would wish the committee that is going to look at that statement to go deeper and even tell us what the body that has been conducting the geological survey looks at for them to term certain minerals strategic, because for a long time I have been thinking soapstone and whatever that surrounds it from Kisii is strategic enough to convince the Ministry of Government to support that as an economic activity, because it goes a long way in solving the economic needs of the locals and the country, Mr. Speaker. So I would really be worried that we are actually put aside by having certain minerals termed strategic. I would really want the committee to shed light so that I'm able to know if indeed we fall below that par, or it's a means of sidelining soapstone miners and covers, Mr. Speaker. And secondly, I also wish to support the statement by Senator Seki. Mr. Speaker, we have had rampant shortages in terms of vaccines, and I do not know why this is recurring. Is it poor forecasting that we are having, or there is general lapse in the ministry, Mr. Speaker? We do not want to lose our children. They are the future of this country. But it's sad that most of them are now missing out on these very crucial vaccines, which are very crucial at their developmental stages, Mr. Speaker. And we actually should not even be talking about this right now. The ministry needs to stop every other thing and address the matter on infant vaccines.
Senator Moses Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, in this country, it's very difficult to know what the truth is. And when I listened to the statement by the senator from Kirinyaga about coffee and about dairy, I was very conflicted. Mr. Speaker, on Madaraka Day, the president made an address telling us how structural changes and reforms in the coffee sector have led to the direct settlement scheme, which will allow coffee farmers to get settlements within just a few days rather than a number of months. And so, Mr. Speaker, I would like the Agriculture Committee to go deeper into this matter, not just to look at that specific aspect of direct settlement scheme, but to verify whether the reforms that the President has told us continuously in the agricultural sector are true reforms. Mr. Speaker, if we were to listen to only one side of the different arms of government, we will lose it. And that is why Parliament exists, to validate the claims from the executive. Mr. Speaker, let me also comment on the the declaration of strategic minerals. Mr. Speaker, this country, every corner of this country, has a strategic or has a critical mineral under the soil. And we had expected that the experts we had donated to the broad-based government, like CS Joho, would be able to tell Kenyans the truth for once. The colonialists, when they came to this country, they did a mineral mapping, and the records are there. County governments have a clear mineral mapping. Mr. Speaker, today we are talking of fiscal space. We are talking of lack of resources. We are going to borrow money from UAE. We are going into wars in Sudan so that we can...
Just a minute, Senator Gachagua'S. Senator Boni Karwale, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I rise under Standing Order number 105. Did you hear the Senator of Homa Bay said that they donated experts to the broad-based government, and he said, like Joho Hassan. Could he specify in what area of expertise the said Joho is an expert? Because it's a matter of record. It has to be clear. We have allowed, dear Senators, Kenyans, the issue of education be something that should never be celebrated by our children.
Senator
Can he
Boni
clarify?
Karwale. Senator Boni, if you familiarize yourself with the Standing Order 101, you know we are very strict on our standing orders. If you want to discuss CS Hali Hassan Joho, you should bring a substantive motion to this House. You yourself and Senator Gachagua'S, both of you are out of order, and I give you the first warning. If you dare mention any state officer by his name, familiarize yourself with the standing orders. Proceed and conclude.
Mr. Speaker, the senator from Kakamega is a renowned expert in bullfighting, and we don't challenge it, and he does not challenge it. So let us just give Joe his flowers, that he can be an expert in making sure that bling coming from our natural resources is well tapped. But, Mr. Speaker, I would love that from the blue economy and from our mineral resources, if you were to exploit this, we would not be beggars. And, Mr. Speaker, the biggest embarrassment for Africa and the southern part of the world was when African presidents go to the US and they are demeaned and embarrassed by the American president when they go begging for money, which we could get if we were to tap our critical mineral resources. So I hope that in that statement, the committee will go deep.
We are concluding on the comments the next 5 minutes. Senator Mgatana, Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to quickly comment on the aerial geophysical survey of Kenya mineral resources statement by Senator Eddie Okech. Mr. Speaker, there was a conference that was held in Kenya on the 26th, 27th of November 2024 after the aerial geosurvey, physical geosurvey was done, and which identified 970 mineral occurrences in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, what is surprising is that that conference was supposed to attract investment into Kenya after we discovered there are about 970 mineral occurrences in Kenya. What is surprising and what is coming from this statement is that this information has not been put up in the public domain. And the purpose for which money was spent was so that we can attract investment into this country. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Mining released a document saying they spent $65 million. This is about 7 billion Kenya shillings to carry out that aerial geophysical survey between the years 1919 and 2022, 2019 and 2022. So if public money was expended to the effect that we bring investment, why is the ministry having a problem with publishing this information? Why should the minister arrange conferences in 2024 when maybe there are Kenyans who want to invest in that sector? Mr. Speaker, the committee should explore the reasons, because maybe there are very many Kenyans who...
Sorry. Last but not the least, Senator Ososi Ngonfle, Atieno.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will want to quickly comment on the statement by Senator of Migori. Has actually four statements on the matter of mineral mining. Mr. Speaker, I think Senator Eddy's statements are quite heavy and very important, because they are actually addressing very, very fundamental questions in the mining sector in this country. Mr. Speaker, the status of artisanal mining in our counties is something that this House must look at. We have unscrupulous foreigners who have invaded our villages, especially in Western Kenya. The Chinese, the Indians, and all manner, Nigerians, all manner of foreigners, in the name of mining gold. And children have left school because they are busy searching through soil and trying to look for gold, Mr. Speaker. Women have left their homes. And what happens to this gold when they mine it? No one knows where it goes. Mr. Speaker, we have sat in this House and we have been told Vihiga, Migori, and Kakamega cannot get mineral royalties because the gold that is mined is not accounted for, Mr. Speaker. So I think the Committee for Environment, Lands, and Natural Resources have an obligation to bring answers to this House as to what exactly happens. And all these companies operating are known to the Ministry of Mining, are known to the police, are known to the county government. What is happening, Mr. Speaker, is illegal trade that is known to government officials, and they are not.
That's the end of the statement. Our next order.
Order number 8, motion, celebrating the life of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Resumption of debate interrupted on Wednesday, 4th June 2025. Afternoon sitting. Question to be put.
Honorable Senators, the debate on this motion was concluded yesterday. And now what is remaining is putting of the question. And this motion does not involve counties and standing on item 4.1. But I want to ascertain whether we have quorum to put the voice vote. Clerk? Okay. What? Maybe can I first put the question? There is another thing from where I come from. Men do not look behind. So once you start standing up, you continue standing. So, honorable senators, I put the question that aware that Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, a prominent author, academician, and human rights defender, globally recognized for his foundational contributions to literature and good governance, passed away on 20th May 2025 at the age of 87 years. Cognizant that the late Professor Wadiongo had an illustrious career in writing and teaching literature, spanning over 6 decades, where he authored landmark novels, plays, and poems that shaped post-colonial studies, contributed to social justice, and inspired generations of writers and thinkers across the world. Honored senators, Senator Ososi, appreciating that the late Professor Wadiongo advocated for indigenous languages and indeed took up writing in his mother tongue at a time when it was not fashionable to do so. Further, cognizant that his legacy in inspiring many generations towards cultural sovereignty and the power of indigenous languages in literature and thought led to numerous international awards being bestowed upon him. Now, therefore, the Senate expresses its deep sadness at the death of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, reckons his celebration and appreciation of his remarkable life, and extends his heartfelt sympathy and condolences to his family, friends, and the nation. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable Senators, when the chair is upstanding, Deputy Majority Leader, when you are out there, familiarize yourself with the standing orders. When the chair is upstanding, no senator should utter even as a word. You must be attentive because the communication is sent to the honorable senators. But then when you start talking, Senator Kenywa, are you the one who is misreading? You know you are senior than Senator Keroche. Next one. Next one.
Order number 9, motion. Report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the fourth basis for allocating the share of national revenue among counties. Resumption of debate interrupted on Tuesday, 3rd June 2025.
No senator was on the floor, so I'll give Senator Wambua Enoch. Did you contribute? If you didn't, then you should. This motion has not been amended. It's the original motion. Senator Mogeni Eric.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move a motion, an amendment to the motion in the following manner, Mr. Speaker. That the motion be amended by deleting the words county allocation equal to baseline allocation ratio of 387,425 billion plus Kenya shillings 2 billion shared equally among the identified 11 counties plus 45% population index plus bracket 35% equal share index plus 0.12% poverty index plus 0.08 geographical size index and additional county equitable share above 389,425 appearing after the word as follows and substituting thereof with the following words. county allocation equal to baseline allocation ratio at Kenya shillings 387,425 billion plus 4.46 billion shared equally among the identified 11 counties plus 0.45 population index plus 35% equal share index plus 12% poverty index plus 8% geographical size index, and then additional county equitable share above 391.89 billion. Mr. Speaker, I want to go on record that I'm rising to support the report of the Committee on Finance as amended by the proposed motion that is on the floor. Mr. Speaker, I want to begin by thanking the chair of this committee, Chairman Senator Ali Roba, for coming up with a formula that does not elicit any controversy from the 47 Senate delegations. Mr. Speaker, many of us who are here as senators in the 12th Parliament know that this issue of revenue share formula was extremely contentious. We had a prolonged stalemate on the floor of the House. We voted more than 13 times before we reached a compromise. So we must thank the committee that this time around we are going through a process that is less controversial, that is trying to carry everybody on board. Mr. Speaker, sir, the motion that I've moved this afternoon to amend the motion seeks to carry along the 11 counties that are disadvantaged, that get an allocation that does not allow them to perform their functions optimally. And Mr. Speaker, we all know that under our Constitution, more so Article 29, the spirit of affirmative action is well enshrined in that article. And further, Mr. Speaker, when we allocate resources, it's important, Mr. Speaker, that we be sure that the resources we allocate to our counties will support our devolved units to perform their functions. So, Mr. Speaker, the spirit behind these amendments is to ensure that our big, rich counties carry along the smaller, poor counties so that we all move together. And Mr. Speaker, as I move this motion, Mr. Speaker, I'm moving this motion with the hope that we are not going to agree with the resolution of the National Assembly that is setting the equitable share at 405 billion. Mr. Speaker, I believe that our revenue collection has gone up, Mr. Speaker, and we want our brothers and sisters in the National Assembly to support us, Mr. Speaker, so that we are able to support our devolved units. Two, and I'm saying this very candidly, Mr. Speaker, because we always know when there is interference. I want to thank the President, our current President, Dr. William Ruto, for having given this House the independence to deal with this matter without any intimidation from the executive. Because, Mr. Speaker, the problem we had last time is that the executive tried to micromanage us senators, Mr. Speaker. So I appeal to the executive to keep that spirit so that we as senators can deal with this matter as senators who carry along the interests of all the 47, devolved unit. But having said that, we also know, Mr. Speaker, that when we had a stalemate last time, it took an act of statesmanship from two great individuals, President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Senator Wambua will bear me witness that the compromise that we reached on the floor, Mr. Speaker, included a commitment from the executive that they were going to give us an additional allocation of 53.5 billion shillings. We got that increase on one financial year. Pop, 53.5 billion. So, Mr. Speaker, this debate we are having from National Assembly saying that we cannot increase revenue, the equitable share from 387 to 465 is what our Chief Justice will call hot hair, because it has been done before and it can be done, Mr. Speaker. So I hope that our brothers and sisters who will represent us in mediation will push to ensure that we get an allocation of 465 billion. So, Speaker, when you break down the amount that we have proposed to increase, it's merely by deleting the figure 2 billion that had graciously been allocated to these counties by the Committee of Finance and substitute 2 billion with 4.6 billion. So we are just increasing it by 2.6 billion. And after this amendment, if honorable senators support, if this amendment carries the day, the position remains as it is currently. There is no county that is going to be disadvantaged in any way. But we would have supported the 11 counties, each to get a small increase of 400 million. And I want to agree with the submissions that were made by Senator of Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, that this increase, Mr. Speaker, should be sector-specific allocation. We don't want to give this money to our counties, Mr. Speaker, and then we find that the absorption is to employ relatives or friends of our governors, Mr. Speaker. If we give this money to these 11 counties, it should be for sector-specific allocations, Mr. Speaker, so that the money is used to spur development, Mr. Speaker. If Governor Oparanya is doing a tarmac road from Kakamega to Vihiga, if we give this money to the governor for Vihiga, Honorable Otichlo, he should also do a tarmac, because that is the intention of this. This is an affirmative action initiative, Mr. Speaker, so that the big counties don't move alone, Mr. Speaker. If we want to connect these counties to do business, if Kakamega is doing a tarmac, let Vihiga do it, and let Nyamira do the same, Mr. Speaker. And I'm happy to report, Mr. Speaker, for comfort of this House, that the wars we have been seeing in Nyamira, because people may ask, if this money goes to Nyamira, which county assembly will appropriate the money? Is it the one called Mashinani, or it's the one that sits in the county headquarters? The Speaker, if you follow news, you must have read in the Standard newspaper of today that yesterday, Mr. Speaker, the High Court sitting in Bomet made a landmark decision, and it nullified everything doing with Bunge Mashinani in Nyamira. So I want to give my senators who will support this quest that the money that you will send to Nyamira will be appropriated by one county assembly sitting at the gazetted county assembly premises in Nyamira, and not the one you have been seeing sitting in people's residences. I want to give that undertaking, Mr. Speaker, and I hope my governor is watching these proceedings. We don't want that shame, that embarrassment. You know, yesterday when I had that rumor that a judgment had come out clarifying where the assembly should be sitting, I requested this motion to be stepped down so that I deliver the good news to our honorable senators, Mr. Speaker, because we want, Mr. Speaker, this money to be used for the benefit, I emphasize, for the benefit of the people who reside in those 11 counties. In fact, Mr. Speaker, we were proposing that if we are able to get this money for these 11 counties,
we should have something we call action taken reports. We must tie them to report back to us how they have used this money, Mr. Speaker. Because the fear amongst us is to give money to our counties, and then the money goes to the pockets of a few people, and not for the benefit of people who reside in those counties. As I head towards concluding, Mr. Speaker, I want to also tell the senators that the people who enacted the 2011 Constitution had a lot of faith and trust in us elected parliamentarians. You know, Mr. Speaker, in India, when revenue is being shared between states and the union, the recommendation of the Finance Commission of India is final, Mr. Speaker. But luckily for us, Mr. Speaker, when Kenyans enacted our 2011 Constitution, the last task of sharing revenue was placed in the hands of us, the elected leaders, Mr. Speaker. Even if you go to Australia, I think they call it the Commonwealth Grants Commission of Australia. Once they make recommendation on how money is to be shared between the union and the states, Parliament has got no say. But in this country, Mr. Speaker, under Article 215 and Article 215, CRA merely makes a recommendation. The people who have the last say, Mr. Speaker, is us, senators. So I want to appeal to our colleagues, all the 47 senators, to stand with your brothers and sisters from these 11 counties, Mr. Speaker. Imagine, Mr. Speaker, while my brother, Chair of Finance, Senator for Mandera, gets a cool 12 billion, our brother from Lamu gets 3.2 billion, Mr. Speaker. When you share with the Senator for Lamu, he tells you that money is barely pays salaries, fuels vehicles, if they are lucky to buy some medicine here and there, and it gets depleted. The same with Isiolo, Mr. Speaker. So if Mr. Speaker, this motion gets the support of senators, we'll be able to uplift some counties to a level that they can also try to bring developments to their regions. And I want to remind our brothers, Mr. Speaker, from arid, semi-arid, and sparsely populated counties, that the formula that we had here in 2019, Senator Wambua, you can bear me witness, was exposing some of these counties to the risk of losing to the tune of 2 billion, up to 2 billion. But, Mr. Speaker, because we recognized deliberately that we were elected not just to fight for Nyamira, but to fight for all the 47 counties, we stood with our brothers, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that nobody was disadvantaged with that third revenue sharing formula. So I'm also urging our colleagues here to stand with the 11 counties so that all of us 47 counties move together, the same spirit as senators who are here to defend devolution and to defend the functions that have been devolved to our devolved units, Mr. Speaker. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, we also want to urge all the bodies that are tasked with ensuring that corruption does not get deeper roots in this country, to create confidence within our counties, Mr. Speaker. Those who misappropriate public money, Mr. Speaker, action should be taken, Mr. Speaker. We should see more people behind bars so that there is deterrence, Mr. Speaker. With those remarks, Mr. Speaker, I kindly ask the Senator for Elgeyo Marakwet to second motion. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senator Kisan William.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to second the motion as amended, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, We want to thank the Finance and Budget Committee for its wisdom. I remember the third basis, I was in the National Assembly with you, Honorable Speaker, and it was not easy for senators then to pass that particular formula because it was very divisive and basically it divided the country almost into two, Honorable Speaker. And in its own wisdom, as a retired governor, Senator Ali Roba came with a lot of wisdom to the Committee of Finance and Budget and sat, convinced his members, and also listened to the governors from the 11 marginalized counties and listened to us as senators. And this particular proposal to give 4.6 billion to the 11 counties is a good compromise, basically to assist the 11 counties to get some resources to do some development, Honorable Speaker. In fact, Honorable Speaker, we are saying, as Senator Mgena has said, we need also to ensure when the House approves, we need to ring fence to ensure that the governors don't continue employing their relatives, continue spending these as recurrent, Honorable Speaker, so that at least the 11 counties will have a minimum of the 405 million, Honorable Speaker, that has been proposed to do something meaningful, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in Gachagua'S County, we have about 20 wards. And I was saying, if each financial year we take, say, 10 of our 20 wards, they are located 40 million, Honorable Speaker, they can do something good, reasonable in each of the wards. Because what touches the mwananchi on the ground, Honorable Speaker, is especially health. And if you go across the country, sometimes 2-3 weeks ago, Honorable Speaker, we went to Kilifi, we went to Mombasa and Kwale, and it is pathetic. In fact, the only count out of the 3 that we visited, Honorable Speaker, was Kilifi. Kilifi is the only one that had a good system working. They have a very good pharmacy system working, and they have, the people are doing well. But the other 2 was, I don't know what to say, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, we are asking our colleagues, begging our colleagues to help us. This is the time to stand with your brothers and sisters in these particular 11 counties, Honorable Speaker, so that devolution makes sense for these 11 counties, Honorable Speaker. I said sometimes early this week, Honorable Speaker, that these particular 11 counties, there is nothing that they've been doing much that you can see. You can go and visit these particular counties. You will not see anything. In fact, I was telling Senator Wambua, when you go to Machakos, you'll see a big building. You'll see tarmac. Kakamega, the CS of Baranya, when he was the governor for Kakamega, he did about 20 or 30 kilometers of tarmac. Even Viga, even Maraming is a problem because those resources are not there. That is why, Honorable Speaker, we will still insist, even as this House, the 10 billion for RLMF also should go to the counties and be ring-fenced, Honorable Speaker, so that as we give this additional 405 million to the 11 counties, the 10 million of RLMF also should go to the counties so that they can do roads, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we are just asking, please support us, support our counties, so that we can actually even actualize, because if you look at Article 203, Honorable Speaker, Section 1, but G, Honorable Speaker, there is economic disparities within and among counties, and the need to remedy them. This affirmative action of 405 million to the 11 counties, Honorable Speaker, will basically sort out this section 203, close Article 203, Section 1, but G, Honorable Speaker, so that at least we remedy the economic activities of these particular 11 counties, Honorable Speaker. And as a Senate, we also will not agree with the position that the National Assembly has taken, that our counties get 405 billion. So I remember sometimes last year when we were discussing these issues, we had given a proposal of 415 billion to the counties, and then it was reduced to 380, and eventually there was a compromise of 387 billion, Honorable Speaker. And now they want to move it marginally by about 17 billion to 405. Let us be firm, Honorable Senators, and stand with the 465 billion so that our counties, all the counties will move to 6 billion. And then eventually, Honorable Speaker, we also want to urge our colleagues in National Assembly. This particular revenue that will be shared between, from 2025, 2026, Honorable Speaker, is based on audited report of Auditor General for 2020, 2021. Why can National Assembly Public Accounts Committee, Honorable Speaker, fast track looking at this report so that we should be only a year behind? And if we are a year behind, we will not be crying about additional resources because we'll be basing the revenue on the most recent, Honorable Speaker, because if you check the national government budget that will be read next week is 4-point-something trillion. And counties are getting 4 billion. If you calculate, it's less than 10%. And we are supposed to be getting basically minimum of 15%. So, Honorable Speaker, I beg to second and ask our colleagues, please sympathize with us, empathize with us, so that we may at least slowly develop our small and marginalized counties. I second, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the motion be amended by A, deleting the ones county allocation, which is the baseline allocation ratio of Kenya shillings 387 billion 425 plus Kenya shillings 2 billion, shared equally among the identified 11 counties, plus 45% on population index, plus 35% on equal share index, plus 0.12% on poverty index, plus 8% on geographical size index. Additional county equitable share above Kenya shillings 389.425 billion, appearing after the ones as follows, and substituting therefore with the following ones. And B, county allocation equals baseline allocation ratio of Kenya shillings 387.425 billion plus Kenya shillings 4.46 billion shared equally among the identified 11 counties, plus 45% on population index, plus 35% equal share index, plus 12% poverty index, plus 8% geographical size index. Additional county equitable share above Kenya shillings 391.89 billion. I therefore want now to invite senators to contribute to this particular motion, not to the original motion, to this amendment. You'll be contributing to the amendment moved by Senator Kongo. If you don't know, you did not get the import of the amendment, then I think we can benefit from the wisdom of the chair of the committee, who will be able to explain what had happened before and why now the amendment has come, and the consequences, Mr. Chair, to the amendment. So I'll invite the chair, Senator Bahari Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The wisdom behind having a less controversial formula of sharing revenue amongst counties this time is informed by what preceded in the third Senate, where there was a lot of controversy on the third basis of revenue sharing, which was as a result of a substantive number of counties losing. And there was no amount of force from the state that was able to sway the position the senators took to be able to carry the entire country along. Mr. Speaker, as I rise to support the concept of carrying everybody along, and particularly these 9 counties that are receiving less money, and these 11 counties that are receiving less money, in the wisdom of the committee initially, we proposed 2 billion shilling to be shared equally among the 11 counties, with the inside of the fact that division of revenue, as passed in the current financial year, the original division of revenue stood at 400 billion.01. And the division of revenue bill as passed by the National Assembly now stands at 405. The division of revenue as passed by the Senate is 465, and we're heading for mediation. And it's important to reflect on the result of past mediation in terms of how much more money we were able to get. Honorable Speaker, one mediation chaired by yourself was only able to get very little amount in terms of increase in shareable revenue for counties. And the last one that we mediated, we were able to only negotiate from 385 to 387.425, which was only 2 billion, literally, in terms of an increase from the mediation. The only word of caution I want to throw in, so that we debate in the context of other realities that are beyond our control, such as the result that may come out of the mediation that has no guarantee. While we will push as hard as possible as senators to be able to get more money for shareable revenue to county governments, informed by the fact that the last meaningful increase on shareable revenue from the government was in 2020-2021. And now the cumulative increase since then is about 70 billion. We feel that maybe considering there is a new formula, it's the high time for us to push to get a little bit more. But then those are expectations. The reality now is that the current shareable revenue is at 387.425. What was originally proposed in the DORA that was amended because of the circumstances surrounding the finance bill brought it down, from 400.01 to 387. And now National Assembly has proposed 405. In real sense, the increase on shareable revenue is just from 400 billion to 405. Now, what is proposed in this amendment is to get 4.6 billion to 11 counties, meaning if we hit the reality of hitting dead end on the negotiation or mediation between us, and that reality based on other past events takes us to the position of 405, then it means the entire shareable revenue that will have increased from 400 to 405 would have been shared between the 11 counties, and the other 36 may not have any much gain from the current shareable revenue increase. As I would like to caution my colleagues, the honorable senators, to be cognizant of this reality. The most ideal position was to share what is feasible now and be able to look at amending, what we needed to do at a time we would have realized a lot later. Mr. Speaker, these 11 counties have a challenge, and the proposal to carry them along is very noble. They need to be considered. On that principle, I believe with conviction the entire Senate is 100% on board. The degree of consideration, though, must be informed by the realities of what we can achieve from shareable revenue after mediation. And therefore, I just want to put that caution as the chair of Finance and Budget, so that as we carry everybody along, we also don't put the other 36 counties into grave disadvantage. Mr. Speaker, I submit. Thank you.
Before I give the second contributor, I have this communication on a visiting delegation from Meru County. Honorable Senators, in the Speaker's Gallery, we have Mr. Anderson Mwiti Kadendo and Mrs. Ruth Gasheri Mwiti. They are business persons from Meru County and are here on a one-day tour at the invitation of yours truly. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. Thank you. Since yours truly is on the chair, I'll ask my neighbor from the other side, Senator Kenywa, to welcome the visitors from Laikipia County.
Asante Bwana Spika, nataka kuungana na wewe kuwakaribisha wafanyabiashara waliobombea kutoka Meru na kuambia karibuni, na hivi ndivyo ambavyo spika wetu Kadhuri Murungi anavyofanya kazi, na ni mtu ambaye anafanya kazi kwa ustadi na kuendesha bunge hili kwa njia ambayo inafaa. Kwa hivyo nawaambieni karibuni, mjisikie huru, mnaweza mkatembea na kusoma mengi ambayo yanatendeka, na niwahakikishia kwamba mlimchagua mtu ambaye ni stadi, na alipofika hapa sisi tukamchagua awe kiongozi wetu wa bunge na afanya kazi vilivyo. Asante Spika kunipa fursa hiyo.
Asante kwa maneno mazuri. Senator Wambua Enoch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would have expected that you will ask me to welcome the delegation from Meru. I am more of a neighbor to Meru than Laikipia, but Mr. Speaker, that is now water under the bridge. Would deal with it. Mr. Speaker,
next time I will give you that privilege.
I thank you for the assurance. Mr. Speaker, I stand here to make comments on the proposed amendment to the motion by the Committee on Budget. And Mr. Speaker, just a little history will help us make the right decision on this matter. In the basis that we are concluding, the Speaker, the formula, the bone of contention then was that the Senate was faced with the challenge of an existential threat to a county. And that account is actually the county of Mandera, where now the chairman of the budget comes from. If we had gone with the wisdom of the CRA then and passed the formula as proposed by them, probably Mandera County would have shut its doors by now. And because, the Speaker, we are here as defenders and protectors of devolution, we said that Mandera County was not going to be shut under our watch. So we fought, and the solution, Mr. Speaker, and I want to take this opportunity to thank the majority leader, because that time, Mr. Speaker, his county and the county of Elgeyo Marakwet, then represented by Kipchumba Murkomen, they were gaining quite substantially. But for the sake of the counties that were losing, they said, we are going to make this sacrifice for the sake of the counties that are losing money. Mr. Speaker, that's a context within which we are discussing this proposal. Senator Nyamira has done a good job to move the amendment. Mr. Speaker, The only challenge that I have with the request put forward to us by the 11 small counties is that whereas the concept of affirmative action is contemplated under the Constitution in formulating a formula for sharing revenue under 203, where we can apply affirmative action to take care of counties that are disadvantaged. The Speaker, I want to be convinced, and I want the 11 counties to convince us, because that's what we are doing here, that this additional money that they're asking for is money that will go to good use. The Speaker, I say that because the Senator of Nyamira, while moving the motion, the amendment, has just mentioned to us that a ruling has been made in Nyamira that the so-called mashinani sittings have now been abolished by the courts. Mr. Speaker, we expect that the Senator of Nyamira will report to us next week that the County Assembly of Nyamira will now be sitting in the gazetted premises of the Assembly, and that they will be appropriating money for the county government under the law and the Constitution. When I listened to Senator from Elgeyo Marakwet, I'm not very convinced about what he's asking for, Mr. Speaker. I'll be very honest. Because the Senator is telling us we should have mercy on them, have mercy on us. Mr. Speaker, this must go beyond us just having mercy on counties. We must be convinced that this money that you're asking for is money that will be allocated to do certain things that are beneficial to the people in those counties. Why do I say that, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker? I say that, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, because the request put forward to us in this amendment is to allocate 4.6 billion Kenya shillings to 11 counties that, in the opinion of the senators from those counties, are disadvantaged. Now, we have just listened to the submission from the Budget Committee. Then, Madam Speaker, going by reality, the growth in revenue to counties is realistically just maybe 5 billion, considering what we passed in the last financial year. So out of this 5 billion, what Senator Nyamira and his colleagues are asking us to do is, out of the 5 billion, then 4.6 goes to be shared among the 11 counties. And then the rest of us, we share 500 million. So, Speaker, now there's a window. There's a window for us to exploit, and we'll try to exploit it. That this House must stand very, very firm that the shareable revenue for all counties cannot be 405 billion Kenya shillings. We must push for 465 billion Kenya shillings to go to counties. That means, Mr. Speaker, we shall be sharing substantive amount of money. But if now we stick to 405, Mr. Speaker, I think then the 11 counties may have to be called upon to also step down a bit from the 4.6 to maybe 3 billion. We are here to be convinced. We are not going to take a position now. We are here to be convinced. Madam Speaker, the other reason why I want to be convinced by this committee is that, realistically speaking, the 11 counties are asking to have a triple share of the equitable share to counties. And this is how. This is how, Senator Kenya. If you pay attention, you'll know how. Under the third basis, under 387 billion allocated to counties, that formula puts into consideration equal share as a parameter. So all of us under 387 are getting equal share from 397. All of us, all the 47 counties. Under the proposal brought to us by the committee, the 35% parameter, equal share, applies equally to all the 47. That's the second bite. So you're getting the first bite at 387. You are getting the second bite at the proposal is brought to us by the committee. And then you are also proposing an affirmative action of 4.6 billion, where that is not exclusive to the 11 counties. So basically you are saying the 11 counties should get equal share allocation 3 times in one formula. I'm not saying there's something wrong with it. I'm just saying we need to be convinced that this is the direction that we want to take. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, the wisdom, I guess, of the committee is that whatever we do, no county should lose any money. At least let's begin from there. That whatever it is that we do, there is no county that should lose any money. And the committee had proposed 2 billion Kenya shillings as affirmative action for 11 counties. If we push, and I'm told, Madam Speaker, I have not confirmed, but I am told that my name was seen somewhere, as a member of the mediation committee. If those of us who will sit in the mediation committee are able to push for at least 450 billion to counties, then 4.6 billion is money that can really go on to counties as affirmative action for the 11 counties. But, Madam Speaker, I want to conclude by saying this. The solution to the impasse that we had in the previous debate on the third basis was not a discussion and a debate on this floor about what formula we are going to use, but it was the amount of money that we are going to be sharing. And I want to urge my colleagues that yes, even as we discuss the formula and the parameters and the affirmative action, our eyes should be trained on the amount of money that we are sharing, all of us, the 47 counties. Madam Speaker, it must be unacceptable to all of us that the National Assembly, in their wisdom, think that, or lack of it, as Senator Mungatana said, think that out of a 4 trillion budget, the best that you can do for counties is slightly above 400 billion. Madam Speaker, we must reject that move by the National Assembly and reject it loudly, not quietly, in every space available to us. We must reject that move by the National Assembly. I don't know what it is that the National Assembly asks against devolution. I don't know what it is, Madam Speaker. You know, these leaders behave as though they are residents in counties who belong to governors and senators, and then other residents in the same county who belong to members of the National Assembly. It's a very funny thinking, Madam Speaker, that we are fighting for the same people. We are fighting to devolve resources to the same people. And I said here the other day, Madam Speaker, and I want to repeat, that the provision, the constitutional provision, that at least 15% of the money should go to counties, 15% is the lower limit. In fact, there is no lower limit
for the money that should be going to the national government. So we could as well even take 85% of money to counties and 15% to the national government. That's what it is. We should not look at 15% as no, that is the upper limit. Once they get 15%, we are being told whatever you do, don't give less than 15% of monies to county governments. Madam Speaker, with those remarks, I will sit and wait to be persuaded by the 11 counties, but I stand on the principle that every county in this country must benefit equitably from the formula that we are going to agree on. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Majority Leader.
Sorry, Madam Speaker, can I use... Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this chance to share my thoughts also on this amended version of the motion before us, because I do appreciate, Madam Speaker, that we had a motion that was moving on very well. Then 11 of our colleagues caucused without the rest of us, and now wants to convince us to side with them. Madam Speaker, there's nothing wrong with caucusing, because this is a house of reason, and you convince each other by logic and good sense. And so from the very onset, Madam Speaker, without committing fully, but like a young man, still willing to listen to as many damsels as possible, I want to say that I am willing to be persuaded. I don't know why Senator Gachagua'S and Senator Kinyua and Wambua are laughing. I know they have misinterpreted my pronouncements, Madam Speaker, to mean other things or to interpret their own stuff. But I must appreciate that, like somebody observed, I think to Senator Gachagua'S yesterday, that this is one of our most solemn moments as a Senate. It is one of those moments which any senator, by the way, who never gets to record their voice on this matter is not worth even being elected to this House. Madam Speaker, I have my notes from the second generation formula, still very new in this House. I have my notes of what I said in the third formula, and today I can speak off the top of my head on the fourth generation formula, because there is no other powers. This Constitution is very mean to the Senate. I have said this before. But at least with regards to the determination of how shareable revenue to counties is shared out amongst the 47, we were granted the superpower. Not even the National Assembly has the kind of power that Senate has. In fact, such is the provision, Madam Speaker, that this is the only occasion where they will require actually two-thirds to overturn any decision of this House. And you know how many times, Madam Speaker, that House has raised that threshold. In fact, I cannot recall any other time, save for the time that we needed to chase a very bad man in this country, Madam Speaker, and they successfully did it. On any other occasion, even on moments where they could actually have self-benefited, they couldn't raise those numbers. I recall the amendment, for example, by the former member of Parliament.
What's your point of order, Senator Q?
Madam Speaker, I have heard Senator for Kericho, the majority leader, saying that the only time that the National Assembly raised a quorum of two-thirds is when they needed to chase a very bad man. I don't know, chase him out of where to where and who this bad man is. Madam Speaker, can you clarify that?
Senator Majority Leader, can you substantiate
Madam
your
Speaker,
allegations?
I've just come back from Kitui County, his home county, this morning. I was in Kitui East.
Order, Senator Kio. Now, can you listen to the substantiation?
A place called, I think, Nzesu or something like that. Zombe, thank you for reminding me. And when I asked the people whether we made the right decision, they unilaterally told me that it was the right decision to kick out Rigathi Gachagua out of the position of deputy president because his conduct was unbecoming. That was in Kitui where Senator Wambua comes from, not any other part of the country. So if Senator Wambua needed to know who that bad man was, I have told him. So back...
Proceed, Senator ML.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I don't know what Senator Wambua wants to say. If he wants to do a public participation on whether that decision was right, he should go back to the same people that I asked this morning.
Senator Kinyua, what is your point of order?
Speaker, ni kinaya kwa kiongozi wa wengi kusema ya kwamba bunge la kitaifa kuhusu mjadala anayoleta hapa, bunge la kitaifa halisikizi, hawasikizi chochote na ni watu ambao si wazuri wasikizi seneti hii. Alafu hatimaye anatuambia wao ndio walifukuza mtu mbaya. Kwa hivyo bwana Speaker, nasema ni kinaya.
Senator Kinyua, is it a point of order or are you just making a statement? What is your issue?
Kweli kabisa bwana Speaker. Hakuna hoja ya nidhamu kwa yale maneno ambayo amesema Speaker. Nafikiri amechangia tu mjadala.
Senator ML, proceed with the debate, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for protecting me from the frivolous points of orders from my colleagues who don't want me to engage in this debate, Madam Speaker. But I'll tread with caution now so that I don't get interrupted while executing a very important mandate. I appreciate that Senator Okongo Omogeni, Senator Kisang have taken to the floor this early to convince the House, and I've listened to them. I listened to Senator Omogeni, and even when I was having tea while Senator Kisang was speaking, the reason I had tea, Senator Wambua, is that I was not served any ndengu in Kitui. Therefore, I arrived in the House very hungry. But I still listened. I still listened to Senator Omogeni moving the amendment